Happy Sunday, Grizzlies family. If you are here in Memphis, I am sorry that it is so rainy and gross, but we're about to brighten your day. John Karalis, ready to break down the Grizzlies Celtics game. The Grizzlies, okay, this is how I'm gonna start it. The Celtics have about half an injury. Jaylen Brown is questionable today.
Yeah,
We like questionable. Questionable in our books is great.
it's a massive improvement
Yeah,
from
because
normal for you guys.
yes, John Conchar and Vince Williams Jr. are questionable today. Questionable, you're hoping means play. You want Vince Williams Jr. and John Conchar to play. Xavier Tillman Sr. is doubtful today. And then BC, Zaire, Victor, new addition, Jake, Marcus, kind of ruining his homecoming. And most recently, Jaren Jackson Jr. is out today. So this injury list does not leave a whole lot of healthy guys to play the best team in the NBA tonight, John.
Yeah, we've kind of seen this before, though, right? Like when the Celtics were in Memphis, that was a similar, like everybody's hurt. You guys were in a little bit of a rough patch, and the Celtics kind of went in and said, "Oh, we got this. We're the best team in the NBA." We walk in here and kind of like whatever, and it took a kind of minor miracle for the Celtics to kind of pull that out. This time around, the Celtics are coming off a very disappointing, unacceptable, some might call it embarrassing loss to the Lakers without Anthony Davis and LeBron James.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking maybe the Celtics kind of see this as an opportunity to feast. They, for the first time, they just went through a crazy January where they played a ton of games. And it was one of those weird travel months where it was a game on the road, game at home, game on the road, game at home,
It's
two on
tough.
the road, one at home. Like you're always so the home games felt like road games because you never unpack.
Yeah.
And now this is a stretch where Memphis is one game in 5 days. And it's like, they get to breathe, they get to relax. They actually had a practice yesterday. So I'm hoping for their sake that they see this as an opportunity where everybody eats. They play 25 minutes and fourth quarter is, G League versus G League and, they can have some fun. But it's the thing with these Celtics is sometimes you never know in a situation like this.
So it's the Grizzlies versus the Boston Celtics for the one game in those 5 days. The flip is that this is the third day for the Grizzlies in 4 days with a shortened roster. And now,
Right.
yeah, obviously the Grizzlies, when you look at who's playing, it is a bunch of 10-day guys, it is a bunch of G League guys, but they do have, like some staples. They have Santi, they have Luke. And in general, it is a very young roster. And young usually means high energy. Now it is, the third game in the fourth day. So you're hoping that that high energy can stay. And again, you're hoping that Vince plays because that would be a good defensive matchup. You're hoping that Conchar plays because again, he's a defense guy, and we just don't have those answers right now. And so I'm gonna look at the flip side, and I'm gonna just ask you about the Celtics because right now there are so many question marks when it comes to the Grizzlies. But what's not questionable is how relatively healthy this Celtics team has been, how relatively, take away that Lakers game, dominant they've been this season. They're the
Mhm.
best team in the NBA for a reason. Jason Tatum is averaging 27 and almost 8.5 rebounds. How great has he been to watch this season for you?
Yeah, he's been fun because I think like he's actually his statistics have dipped a little bit. Everybody's statistics have dipped some because we're actually seeing that sacrifice that people keep talking about to be a good team. It's actually happening for the Celtics where Tatum and Brown especially have taken like a little step back with their scoring, but their playmaking more. So I think Tatum at his best is playing like attacking the basket, drawing to kicking and starting like a either a kick to the corner or a kick swing where all of a sudden Porzingis is at the top of the key hitting an open three-pointer. Lots of open shots. Now, a lot of those open shots are three-pointers, and that's been a criticism for the Celtics, but that's kind of been the plan is to have Tatum draw a lot of the attention, kick, start the ball movement, and then the beauty is this season is that he's trusting his teammates and Jaylen as well to get to move the ball and get the ball back so they can get the ball in a scoring position where maybe the defense is in rotation. There's, some switches and some, get a cross match, and all of a sudden Tatum went from having your primary defender on him to all of a sudden, how did a point guard end up on him? And now he's in the post and he's scoring. So it's been fun to see growth, continued growth out of Jason Tatum.
Yeah, Jason Tatum, he's one of my like league pass guys. Like, if I'm like scrolling through league pass, I'm like, oh, the Celtics are on. Like, I'd love to see
Yeah.
Jason Tatum play. Uh, this is how I'm gonna end this with you.
Okay. I'm ready.
You had brought up that the last time the Celtics came to Memphis, it did take like a real effort to get by, the Grizzlies roster, even though it had so many injuries. They're coming off a loss against the Lakers. Has there been a common denominator that the Grizzlies can look at, this Grizzlies team today, with the roster they're playing with today, they can look at and be like, this is the weakness of the Celtics that we can go after?
Yeah, I would say crash the boards. Get some of these, and look, I don't care who's on the team, right? If you're playing in the NBA, even on one of these 10-day contracts, like there's what, 500 players in the NBA, let's say, round number. That's the 500 basically best players in the world.
Yeah.
And so whoever is, like, I wish I was the 500th best player in the NBA, because that would be a hell of a career, right? So those guys are not only good at basketball in general, they are playing for attention. They are playing against the Celtics, and they know that the Celtics
Tryout.
have, yeah, the Celtics have a lot of attention on them. They're the best team in the NBA. So all of those guys, whoever's on the floor for the Grizzlies, they are going to be playing for a contract somewhere, attention somewhere. And so that extra energy is something that the Celtics at this time of the season, right? Late January, February, that stretch for the NBA is generally kind of like the doldrums. So the Celtics, even after the loss to the Lakers, probably aren't playing at 100% energy. So if I had any advice for the Grizzlies, especially those corner crashes, guards sneaking in, getting second chances, it's going to be about volume for the Grizzlies. You can do what the Lakers did: play hard, crash the boards, get up 100+ field goal attempts. And if you shoot 40%, even, which is not great, but you shoot 40% at 100 field goal attempts, you're scoring and you're hanging. And that's going to be like the pesky death by 1,000 paper cuts that can hurt the Celtics, because they guarantee you the Celtics are going to be turning and looking at shots going up and not boxing out. And there's going to be opportunities for guys to sneak in and get tip ins or and that just leads to some frustration. There'll be some boos. So it'll be interesting. Maybe the Celtics can figure it out and turn it around if that happens, but that's going to be the formula for Memphis.
Death by 1,000 paper cuts. I love it. And you're right. Like this stretch of time leading up to All-Star, like the good teams are just getting it done. We want our All-Star break. We want to relax. And then
Guys are planning
come back.
vacations,
Yeah.
they're, everybody's families, they're packing their bags. The guys who aren't going to All-Star are already looking at like, oh, we're going what, Bahamas? We're going to Cabo. Where are we going?
Yeah.
Guys going to All-Star already planning their appearances. They're making, yeah. So their minds aren't 100% focused on the Grizzlies. Maybe they're a little bit focused on Marcus Smart, even though he's not playing. They want to like show him up a little bit, but I don't know. I still think it's an opportunity for the Grizzlies, despite their situation, to make a little bit of noise.
Let's do it. The game tips off at 5 p.m. Central Time. It is a little bit earlier because it is a beautiful Sunday outside. John, thank you so, so much. I hope that you have a blast tonight, and let's hope for a good game.
Let's hope it's entertaining.